do a couple of cool down stretches today, and you only need a little bit of space to do this. You don't need really any equipment, but you might just want to grab a cushion or a rolled up towel, something that can bolster your knees, particularly if you're on a hardwood floor. As with any sort of mobility training, if we go into a position where you find it uncomfortable or even painful, then ease out of the stretch, and we can either give you another variation, or we'll give you some scale options, which I'll be doing throughout the video anyway. So by all means, ease off, choose another variation, or move on to something else. So the first stretch we're going to do is a hip stretch, and quite simply you're going to feel this in your glute muscles, so the back of the hips and maybe the lower back as well. This is a really nice one, particularly if you find that you are sat at work a lot and your lower back gets tight, or if you're lifting a lot and again your lower back gets tight. So in order to do this stretch, the best position to start in is with hips, knees and ankles in line, and then you're going to drop knees out to the side. Now in this position you might just want to pop something underneath your knees to bolster your knees if you can't get your knees down to the floor. The other thing is you don't need your knees as tightly positioned as mine, so you can stretch out a little bit more if that's more comfortable for you. Now the first sort of option for this is I'm going to turn, so I'm not loading my lower back, but I'm going to rotate, making sure my torso is in line with my thigh, and actually this might be enough for you to get the stretch in the front of your hip. Or you might want to take the hands down to the floor. If you find that this is enough, that's also fine. This is a really nice progression. But if you're slightly more mobile or flexible, then your alternative is to now take your chest down towards your thigh, and in any of the positions you choose, you should be aiming to hold for about 45 to 60 seconds. So from here, I might wish to stop in this position, or take my chest down towards my thigh, and again we're holding for about 45 to 60 seconds. Bring your knees back to the middle, change over. So again, you don't need to be as tightly positioned as I am. This might be enough for you, or you can take chest down towards the thigh. And come back to center. So in the next position, or the next stretch, you're going to take your feet out in front of you. You might again just want something underneath the knees. If you can't sit comfortably like this, that's not a problem. But we're going to go for a seated rotation. So I'm going to take bend the left knee, take the left foot over the right knee, and this might be enough to get the stretch in, again, my glute muscles, my lower back. Or I can add a rotation into it. So if I'm going to rotate, if I've got my left knee bent, I'm going to go right elbow to left knee. And here, again, might be enough for you. Or you can choose to turn towards your left shoulder. Again, just aiming to hold for about 45 seconds. coming back to centre. Take the right knee over the right foot over the left knee. This might be enough for you, or left elbow to right knee. Rotate away. The next position we're going to go into is known as a child's pose, but we're also going to bring in a stretch for the lats. Your shoulder health is really important, so ultimately what we're trying to do in this stretch is stretch the lower back, but also the variation we're going to introduce is also going to open out your lats, and you should feel it around the side of your rib cage, maybe a little bit around your shoulder as well. So in order to do this, again, you might just want something underneath the knees to bolster your knees. Take the knees slightly wider than hip width, and again, feet can go wider than hip width as well. And we're going to take the bum down towards the heels and then reach the hands forward. Ideally, the head is going to go down towards the floor. And from here, I'm going to take both my hands over to my left-hand side. Hold for about 30 seconds. And take the hands over to the opposite side, head down towards the floor. Make my way this time into kneeling. Bring one foot forward, and I'm looking for 90 degrees at both knees in this position, so we don't want to open out the hip too much. So what we're going to do is now work on the front of the hip. We've done a lot around the lower back and the back of the hip. Now we're going to open out the front. So from here, what I'm looking to do is maintain an upright position, but I'm going to load this hip by squeezing my glute or my bum muscles to load and open out this hip. This might be enough for you in this position, or I can take my hands up towards the ceiling and I can reach over to the side. The other option, if we want to again stretch out the tricep and start to open out this shoulder, is to hold this position again, but to take hand to base of the head or base of the neck, making sure I'm not pushing the head forward, and then lean to one side to open out here, but also open out the front of that hip as well. And again, we need to hold this for about 30 to 45 seconds. remember to bolster your knees if you find that uncomfortable. This might be enough for you in this position, that's fine. You can take the hands up and over if you want to, or we can take hand to base of head, hand to base of neck. Make sure you're not pushing the hand forward. Take the elbow, lean over to that side, making sure you're still loading this hip. From here, we're going to now work on opening out the chest. And again, this is really important for your shoulder health, but also neck health as well. And there's a couple of ways we can do this. You can either do it in kneeling, like I'm going to show you, or you can work into a standing position. Either are fine, go with it whichever you're more comfortable with. And I've got two variations for the positions. We're going to do both. The first, we start in this position, and the second, we start in this position. So all you're going to need is access to a wall, or you can use a door frame as well. And in terms of setup, the first position, you either need your door frame in line with your hand, or with your arm, sorry, or you need the wall in line with the forearm. The only thing you need to make sure of when you're in this stretch position is that you don't let that shoulder drop forward, because it's going to negate the stretch on the chest. So you can do this in kneeling. Obviously, if you find it uncomfortable to kneel, you can move into a standing position as well. If you are in kneeling, again, just bolster something underneath your knees to make sure that you're supported. And we're looking to hold both of these positions for about 30 seconds per side. So we're going to start with forearm stretch, and again, just open out. So all I do in this position is forearm against the wall, and then start to rotate my body away, making sure this shoulder isn't popping forward. I just need to move myself a little bit further away from the wall. The hand is going to go against the wall. Make sure this shoulder doesn't pop forward, and again, I'm just going to rotate myself away. What you might find in this position is you get a little bit of tingling in your fingertips, or you also feel the stretch across your wrist as well. That's not abnormal. Sometimes it's just an indicator that you're mobilising the nerve as well. If it starts to get uncomfortable, again, just ease off, mobilise your wrist. Release. So from here, change sides. Forearm is going to go against the wall. I turn myself away, making sure the shoulder isn't popping forward. You might just need to move yourself a little bit further away from the wall. Rotate, making sure the shoulder doesn't pop forward. stretch we're going to do is a lying quad stretch, just a traditional quad stretch to finish. You just need some space to lie down and head down on the floor. And from here, you can rest your head on your hand, pull one heel up towards your bum. And what I'd like you to do in this position is just push the hip into the floor to make sure we're really opening out that quad muscle. Again, hold for about 30 seconds. So again, I can swap hands here, head on hand, bring the heel up towards the bum, push the hip forward or down towards the floor and hold. Are particularly painful or uncomfortable, then just make sure you seek help from a specialist, and I wish you guys the best of luck. I hope this has been useful for you. I'm looking forward to seeing how you all get on.